Previously on Burning Edge.
Through one of their contacts, the team found someone that might be able to help them burn their sins, replacing them with some serviceable fakes. What should have been a quiet drive through the deserted midnight streets of St. Louis became a black hole sucking down the team's edge as Jean-Baptiste took umbrage at Deuce's driving. Friendly local law enforcement tried unsuccessfully to keep the peace, and through very little fault of their own, we joined the team just pulling up at the designated corner for a meeting with Slide. The four-way intersection is deserted, the stoplight flashing red. A generic green apartment complex sits behind a brick fence across the street from a large boarded-up gas and service station. Generic businesses populate a strip mall in the third corner. Insurance company, business fronts, dentist, that kind of thing. The fourth corner sits a huge Episcopalian church. It's the only building in the area that seems to have anyone maintaining the lawn. Otherwise, every crack in the rest of the area is sprouting weeds that wave at you eerily in the early morning wind. I assume your two vehicles pull up to the curb and y'all get out?
Yep.
I'm tired.
I cannot believe that we had to have a situation like that. I hope that kind of noise doesn't bother our clients.
What? I won. It worked out in the end.
You only won because you cheated.
I did not cheat. I helped you beat cops.
They weren't supposed to be in the race.
Who picked them up?
Well, I mean, to be fair, they wouldn't have been there if you wouldn't have been messing with the stoplights.
All right, always make it about me. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
Yeah,
I won. I was
exactly.
winning though. I won.
This time, JB, that's it. I'm giving it to you this once.
Feels so good. All right, let's head in. I'm gonna walk up to the entrance, the Episcopalian church.
As you approach the gate, a voice from a loudspeaker mounted on one of the telephone poles crackles out. Brothers and sisters, are you here for the word of the Lord?
We.
Very well. You may approach.
Catherine drunkenly follows Deuce.
I look back at everyone. I'm like, what are you waiting for?
Cassandra's giving a sort of askew look up at where the intercom was coming from and turns that look towards the others. So that's never mind.
What's the problem? Cat, it's 1 o'clock in the fragging morning. We've already had to deal with KE. We have enough to deal with. Can we just please get off the street and go inside? I don't care if Quasi fragging Moto is in there right now. Can we get off the street and get inside?
You probably look less weird than me.
My head hurts.
A lot of things look less weird than you. Yeah, Cat, go inside. They've got a water bowl right by the door for you to drink out of.
That's mean. But she starts to head inside.
As you go through the gate, the voice comes back. Brothers and sisters, that is not our building. Please come to the gas station.
Oh.
As you turn and look towards the gas station, a man opens the front door. He's a white human, maybe late 50s, wearing an all-white suit, a large golden cross hanging around his neck laying against his white tie. He's got dirty blonde hair that hangs slightly below his shoulders, and his beard is just starting to go gray on the chin.
Deuce, this is your guy?
He looks like a priest.
Yes?
And definitely looks like he's selling something.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
All right, let's just go.
He waits for you, and as you approach, he puts out a hand to shake.
Micah's not gonna. She's gonna look to Deuce to handle things right here.
Yeah, I do so. I'll extend my hand and greet him.
I'll extend my hand and try to beat him to him.
My physical limit's 7, so.
I'm still gonna roll it.
Well, you didn't glitch. As Deuce walks up to him, he reaches out his hand. You shake it, and he gives you that, right hand shakes your hand, and the left hand clasps you on the elbow. Big smile on his face. Welcome, brothers and sisters. When you said I wouldn't believe what you looked like, you were not kidding, as he gives glances at some of the less human-looking members of the group. As you kind of get closer to the building, you notice that there's some laser sights that are kind of dancing around all over. He wasn't lying about security.
Why did they use those? You can see those. It's not very good.
It's okay, Kat. Those are just for dramatic effect.
I kind of want to get one.
So as Micah opens her third eye to try to get the lay of the land, the guy is clearly magical, also clearly quite powerful and pretty well masked with a sensing you can kind of see through his clothes, and you see he's pretty much covered head to toe in magical glyphs. The station itself is dark on the astral.
Okay.
Anything particular other than that?
What's his emotional state?
He is tired. Yeah, he's pretty meh.
Meh. Oh, join the meh club.
He does have a big smile on his face, and it seems genuine. Some of that kind of bleeds into his aura, but mostly he's just exhausted.
Okay.
It's like it's 1 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I suppose we should get off these dusty streets, away from the prying eyes of God's creations, brothers and sisters, if you will follow me.
And street cameras.
Most of those are ours, I assure you. He opens the creaky front door that's all boarded up. So he leads you into the gas station. The first room is exactly what you'd expect an abandoned gas station to look like. Empty shelves covered in dust, discarded wrappers and bottles showing the place was either looted or used as a home for various squatters before the current occupants moved in. He leads you past the sad testament to capitalism to a quite sturdy door, quickly types in a passcode, and you hear the deadbolt click out of the way, and he pushes the door in. What used to be the garage of the service station has been repurposed for a meeting space of sorts. A few random tables and chairs are near the walls, covered in various criminal enterprises drugs, weapons, large assortment of cred sticks, and a surprising variety of paper corpse grip and nuyen. An assortment of unsavory characters are doing whatever it is that criminals do with illegal goods, splitting powder from large baggies into smaller baggies, replacing bits of stuffed animal stuffing with grenades, monitoring urban brawl games from overseas to handle betting. Clearly, Flash knew this guy could probably help. In the far corner, a platform raised a bit off the floor is dominated by a kind of a throne of sorts, on which sits a large orc, typing furiously into a comlink. His right eye is covered with an eye patch, and his black hair is braided back away from his face. His jet black suit is only slightly darker than his hair. Picture like a filling station that has some service bays out back, and the service bays have all been boarded up with that same kind of plascrete. So I'm picturing like just a, like an Arco station or some Exxon Mobil, whatever, that has Jim's auto body out back that have fallen into disrepair. Like the pumps out front have been completely destroyed. All the windows have been replaced with very thick, not wood, not plastic, not steel, some combination of them. Clearly difficult to get through barriers. The place kind of looks like a fortress. The bays in the back where vehicles used to be able to pull in, all but one of those have been completely covered with the same material. One of them is heavily armored and has a kind of a blast door like thing on the inside. So if they wanted to get a big vehicle in or out, they could. But if you just tried to come in from the outside, you'd have a hard time with it. Other than the entrance that you came in, there is an entrance behind the, lack of a better word, the throne that the orc is sitting on. And there's probably 6 or 7 criminal dudes doing criminal things. So Easy will bid you to come forward, and he'll step up onto the stage, go to the left side of the orc, who's still furiously typing on his comlink.
Can I check how good his comlink is? What he's typing into?
Sure. From the vantage point, it looks, it's large, an orc-sized one.
How's the screen? Is it scratched?
It's not scratched, no.
Any cracks? How about the edges? Any chips or anything?
The case that it's in has a few nicks, but it's just the case.
At least he's got a case on it.
So I will start to make my way up towards Easy.
And Micah's gonna make her way toward the biggest guy in the place.
Well, the biggest guy in the place is the dude on the throne.
The next biggest guy in the place.
There's like a muscle-bound human guy cleaning weapons and taking a silencer off of this one and putting it onto a different one that he's like cleaning up.
Micah's gonna just kind of walk up looking like she's interested in what it is he's doing, and will be within about 1 meter of him.
He seems a little bit uncomfortable, but he's kind of shaped like Vin Diesel. Despite it being chilly in here, he's got the wife beater tank top thing on, and muscles are all tatted up.
Oh, she'll give a smile and a wink just to ease him.
Catherine clutches her duffel bag and follows Deuce.
As you approach, Easy speaks up. Well met, brothers and sisters. If I might be so bold as to introduce you to Slide, the king of this area. And he finally puts his comlink down, looks up at you.
So, you know Flash. What can I do for you?
Well, we're kind of in need of some new identification.
Ah, sins, huh?
Yeah, and unfortunately, cash is a little tight.
Beggars, huh?
Oh, no, no. Definitely willing to put in the work.
And we can't. There's the
Cat,
gotta get.
shh,
Okay.
not now.
You need jobs to earn money to get your sins replaced. What kind of skills do you have that I might be interested in?
As he kind of gestures over at all of the random criminal enterprise going on around his little lair.
Well, you know Flash.
I'm familiar with Flash. I would not say that we are close. We are not business associates.
So then you're familiar with his skill set.
I am aware he is a fixer similar in job title to me, though clearly
Again, he seems to be very impressed with his domicile and what he's built for himself.
Clearly, if he's sending you to me, he expects me to be able to do things that he cannot.
This is true.
So I ask again, what sort of skills would you be bringing to the table?
I can't speak for everyone else. They can tell you of their own skill sets.
Should I show him?
Not yet.
Okay.
Former UCAS military pretty much can handle some of those things that you just mentioned.
He pulls his comlink back out and types a few notes on there.
And what about your friends? I don't have a whole lot of use for pets.
Cassandra grimaces and then steps forward, back straight. In fact, kind of clicks her shoes harshly against the floor as if getting ready to salute a military officer. Breaching and clearing. Rapid securing of VIPs if necessary.
Type some more notes in.
So sounds like you are interested in doing some dirty deeds, to quote the song from the 20th century.
Other than them not being done dirt cheap.
I like this guy. What about the one taking an interest in my boy with the guns over there?
Oh, my skill? My skill is that I don't really care. You have a job, I'll do the job.
Okay.
Oh, would you like a demonstration of how much I really don't care?
This is kind of a job interview, so, yes, I guess I would.
She'll point at the big lug with the guns. Is he okay to demonstrate on?
Depends on what you're going to do to Johnny.
Oh, Johnny will be just fine.
His eyes widen like, oh crap.
Just relax, Johnny. It'll all be over soon. I'll edge it. Why not?
Oh no.
Oh no.
So you're trying to force choke him?
Just a good amount of pressure right there on that trachea, just to cut off the air supply.
So how would a guy who looks like Vin Diesel react to being force choked?
I would assume a lot of confusion.
Random shooting. In random directions.
Well, because he's there in front of his boss. His boss just kind of gave the okay, but a lot of confusion as well as to what can he do. She will stand there and do it and wait for the interviewer to say he's seen enough. It's up to him, not me. I'm trying to impress.
He starts to clearly struggle, worried about his collapsing windpipe. He looks down at all of the assorted weaponry that he's been working on. Very disappointed that there's no bayonets or anything like that. He's basically just got empty magazines sitting around that he's been cleaning. He grabs a shotgun and comes towards you to try to swing at you, but he's slowly running out of breath. Finally, Slide speaks up.
Alright, enough!
She'll hold it just a little bit long, just a few seconds, and then she'll look away and release it.
Meanwhile, Easy's eyes have also widened, and he's showing quite a bit of concern. But he says nothing, just continues to stand behind Slide with his hand on the back of the big chair.
So, mage, do you do fireballs or just more up close and personal sort of thing?
Oh, I'm hands on. Well, so to speak.
Excellent.
And he glances over at JB, who's still trying to get a good look at the comlink.
And I deal with the machines. I quite like your comlink.
Deal with the machines, as in you hack into them or you control them?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Depends on what mood I'm in.
Type some more things into his comlink.
And finally, the kitten.
Is there a target dummy or a target like on the wall anywhere in the room?
At this point, Deuce will look over at Kat, knowing probably what she's capable of, and he'll slide out one of his cards and look at her and throw it up in the air.
Oh, all right, yeah. She'll near instantly have the gun out of her slide and in her hand, and she's going to put a hole through the card.
So this sounds like a trick shot.
Going to pre-edge this. Oh, jeez.
No.
Oh, God.
You didn't glitch. You didn't critical glitch. You also did not hit the card.
Oh no.
The card is still in the air, though, right?
Yeah.
She's taking a second shot. Okay, there's a hole in the card. That's good enough.
You shot that in the same place twice.
Trick shooter.
I have a few other things, too.
I'm not sure I want any more shots fired in my castle.
Castle?
A man's home is his castle.
And he opens his arms wide to show the entire area. As the shots were fired, some of the people doing whatever things they were doing kind of turn around and grab ordnance of some kind, thinking some shit was about to hit the fan. Slide holds up the finger and they all just go back to doing whatever it was they were doing before.
We have a mage, a technical person, some heavy hitters.
Whoa. I'm sorry. I have to interject.
He raises an eyebrow on his good eye.
I'm not some kind of finger waggler. I don't believe in that. All right, no. This is just, will, force of will, power of the mind. Please don't lump me in with those crazy people. Okay?
Do you not do magic? Kind of changes the kind of job I might be able to have you do.
It's not magic. It's intellect. It's force of will. Could you please just not lump me in with people who believe
She's
in
had
magic?
this rant before.
It's a whole thing. It's just that they're happy.
He glances up at Easy, who kind of looks at him like, yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Very well, you are not a mage, you just do things with mana.
No.
Whatever
no.
you want to call
Oh,
it.
God. Whatever.
He looks at his watch like, I wonder how much longer this is going to take. He's like clearly mulling things over in his head about what kind of stuff.
Catherine has picked up the card and given it back to Deuce.
I have a few things, and I kind of want to gauge your interest in what your limits might be. Say, for instance, I needed some people put out of their misery. Would that be a job you would be interested in?
Deuce will look back to everybody else and give a little shrug to his shoulders and say, any objections?
Micah kind of indicate a money sign with her hand.
Cassandra, she's not comfortable with being used as an assassin, but she is not in a position to be picky.
Yeah, Catherine went right over her head. She does not realize that.
Deuce will turn back around and say, yeah, that won't be a problem.
Slide looks up at Easy, looks back down at him and kind of shakes his head.
I sensed a little bit too much hesitation. The person that I need removed is probably not someone that you would feel comfortable. Maybe after you've worked with me a while, we can talk about it some more. We'll start.
Whoa. Don't jump to conclusions. We are highly skilled. You need somebody gone, we can make them gone. Now, if it's going to get us what we need, then I would like you to at least entertain the idea of us doing it.
I have other things that I need doing. I only have one shot at this, and I'm not quite ready to put these plans into motion. We'll back
Why
burner
did
that.
you
I'm
even bring it up? Oh my god.
getting the lay of the land, the
Shit,
heat
no.
that you are willing to take for a job.
Mike is just gonna level a hard look at Deuce, like she's nearing the end of her rope here.
We'll work our way up to some wet work, see how much discretion we have. I've been told recently that a shipment of items will be going through my territory. The mob thinks that I am a small-time criminal syndicate, and I would like to feel some pain when they come through my area. They've got a truck that's supposed to be coming through sometime in the near future with some items that I would like to have retrieved. I do not care what happens to the driver. He's just some punk mob guy. Do you think you can take the truck out and get me what's on the truck?
What do you mean by take out?
There is something in the trailer. I would like that whatever is in the trailer to be returned to me.
You do not desire the truck itself, I presume.
I do not care. Trucks are kind of hard to wipe. They are trackable. The gear on the inside is much easier to clean of any signal than a full truck. I do not expect the mob to let it go for too long before sending out people looking for it.
How big is the thing we need to steal?
Is this a job you'd be interested in before we get into further detail? Is this something you think you could do quietly?
I mean, we do have Kitty Cat and Bunny Rabbit. They're pretty quiet.
Very light on their feet.
Very, very.
Yeah, this is something we would be interested in.
He types some more onto his comlink. The lights kind of dim in the whole room, and an AR display pops up. First thing is like a 3D logo of Dracon International. It's a local conglomerate type thing. A bunch of like smaller couriers kind of got together and formed a bigger company to try to eke out their living amongst the actual big companies.
This is a front that the mob uses. I don't know who owns it. I have not been able to take that much of a dig into it. Feel free to do your homework before you hit them.
What is everybody looking at?
She doesn't have AR at the moment.
Here, Cat, use this, and I'll hand her my burner.
And she takes it and starts.
Don't break that one, please,
Okay.
Cat.
We, kitten.
Catherine gives a look and a half at JB.
I'm gonna keep an eye on her. I'm not breaking my gaze. I'm gonna keep an eye on that.
The logo kind of goes away, and like an armored box shows up.
This is the box that we were transporting some of our cargo in when they stole it from us, and I would like it requisitioned. Inside, well, it's not important what's inside it. It is not fragile, it is not explosive. It's really none of your business, and I would appreciate your discretion.
How is there a scale? How big is the box?
Probably half a meter by a quarter meter by half a meter.
So big, carryable.
It's like one of those boxes that you would transport camera equipment in, where if you open it up, it's got like the foam stuff with cutout inserts for.
I assure you it's not particularly heavy. There may be some other items on the truck. I do not know how big they would be. Feel free to steal any or all of them. I'm sure we can come to an arrangement about bonuses. I don't know what is on there, though, so that would be something we discuss after the mission.
So, in terms of compensation,
Well, that brings up an interesting point. You have come to me asking for a job because you need money to get sins, which I do not know anything about you. Flash did not call to fill me in on any details, so I do not know why you need new sins, nor do I particularly care. It is not my business to need to know these things unless you make it my business. With that being said, I am capable of getting new sins. I can get you some passable ones in the next few days. I could get you some quite good ones over a week or 3. Or if you are really needing one that can pass all kinds of strenuous checks, I could probably get you one of those in 2 months. But this job will not allow you to afford the good one.
When was this truck coming through?
So today is Sunday. I expect the shipment. They normally roll through every Friday. And I'm sure we can provide some additional assistance to close down roads if need be to force them into a particular route.
Nah, we will be fine.
Resourceful, I like that. We may have a long business relationship.
Yeah, depends how much is this going to pay.
So, how good a sin are you looking for? Are you trying to beat Knight Errant, or are you trying to buy stuff at Stuffer Shack?
Micah's just gonna roll her eyes at this silly question.
Yeah, they need to be good ones.
I'm gonna DNI everyone. How are we going to buy anything?
Well, if they can beat Knight Errant, they can beat a Stuffer Shack.
Yes, but it's going to take a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's worrying about provisions in the meantime. None of us packed food.
We can get by. We find somebody to go buy stuff for us. Not a big deal.
You know, if there's other things on this truck that we can get a hold of, we can also fence some of that and make a little bit of extra on the side.
Good point, Deuce.
He's also telling us that he would pay us extra for some of that stuff.
It's not a problem of us having the money, although that helps. It's a problem of us being able to buy something without flagging everybody as being those weirdos who are paying without having an active sin.
That's not a problem.
I still have an active sin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you'll be doing a lot of errands. Meanwhile, I need a decent sin because I'm fairly certain that, well, even just being out and about and riding whatever vehicle happens to be around, I look interesting, so we're going to get pulled over by Knight Errant a lot.
If we take the cheaper one, do we get more new one?
I don't think the cheaper one's an option, JB.
Maybe cheap one at first and then nicer ones later.
What do you think, Micah?
I think we need the good ones now. We got enough heat. We don't want to just be able to get into a Stuffer Shack. We want to be able to walk around the city.
And no offense to Kat or you, Cass, but if we don't have good ones for you two, you guys are going to get flagged very quickly.
Yeah, I'm aware. That's what I was pointing out.
Yep.
So good ones now. And in the future, yeah, we can get some lower end ones just to have, but we need good ones now.
So we do this one and then we do some other work to cover the rest of the cost.
Well, I don't want to be in bed with this guy forever.
He just said that even if we do this really well, we won't have enough for the nicer ones.
I understand. I'm just saying we don't want this guy to have it over us and he thinks that we are part of his, I don't know, kingdom? And that we have to serve him for life. That is not what I'm doing here.
Well, I mean, his life could be rather short, right, Micah?
His life will be very short, yes. And I'm glad you and I are on the same page.
Alright, I guess we did the good ones.
You just make it clear, Deuce, that it's 2 jobs max for the good ones.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't string us along.
When we say good ones, do we mean the very expensive or the middle one?
We mean good enough that it can get by a checkpoint. Good enough that if some low-end Knight Errant cop stops us because somebody decided to do a street race, it's going to pass.
I would like to point out we did not get caught.
I would like to point out that it was totally unnecessary, and we will discuss it later when we're not in the middle of this.
We're going the speed of thought. We're perfectly fine.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of thoughts coming at you.
Deuce will tell him that we need the good ones. There's no way that my 2 friends here will get by on mediocre sins. We need to make sure that they don't have any issues with any checkpoints or Knight Errant. So what is it going to take to get the good ones? You said this one job isn't going to cover. What about this and one other job?
So it depends on how great you would like a sin. I can do anything from the sins that I've stolen off of people who have crossed my goons
And he looks over at Johnny.
that have not lived to tell the tale. Those are relatively inexpensive. We do a little bit of cleaning, we change some data in a database somewhere, and bada bing, you have a sin that broadcasts. It may not be for someone who looks like you.
And he glances over at Cass and Catherine.
It might not even be for an animal. But it is broadcasting. If they don't look too hard, it will pass. If they start to look, that's going to cost you more. If you want biometrics, will match up with you, that sort of thing. Those can be up to 10 grand easy. Now, if you want the real ones, the kind where you can retire, those are close to 15 grand a pop, and they take a long time to get right. So it depends on how much you're looking to spend. We can go anywhere. This is not an a la carte operation, though, so, they tend to be a $2,500 increments as they get better and better.
No, we need the ones that they'll pass with biometrics. We don't need the retirement sins just yet.
All right, so mid-grade. 10 grand?
Yeah, that's what we're talking.
So he goes back into his little comlink spreadsheet thing.
This item is fairly important to me, and I'm willing to pay 5 grand a person. If you'd be willing to do a couple of jobs for me, we could get you that sin covered.
Couple as in 2?
That's 10,000 a sin. Pay you 5 grand. You can do 2 jobs for 5 grand each. We could probably have that arranged.
If you do need somebody gone,
Catherine unzips the duffel bag.
As the zipper starts to go, several of the guys around the edge again grab their weapons.
She pulls out a Ares strike enough that it is visible.
So it sounds like you might be more interested in what work after all.
if that's what it's gonna take.
We'll call that Plan B, contingent on the outcome of this first milk run.
Alright. Okay.
So 2 jobs, Your Highness, right? And then we're gonna get our sins.
Please, call me Slide. We're not that formal here.
2. We do a good job, we get the sins. But I'd like a little extra here. I'd like these 2 to get their sins at the end of this first job. The rest of us get our sins after the second job.
I would hope that after doing a job or two, we will find ourselves in a working relationship, but after successful completion of the first job, we will get started on 2 mid-grade sins for the furry members of your team, with the understanding that any remaining money will go towards the final 3 sins at some later date at a further job.
Okay. Wait, did you need a new one, Deuce?
No, I don't need one.
I got it. 2 and 2.
And how about any excess for what you don't have to make for me in the sin that you don't have to make for me? That gets paid out to the team.
Good team member you got here. Yes, I'm sure. I'm going to pay you X amount for the job. You can split it up however you want. I'm fine with that.
All right, I think we have a deal then. 2 jobs, 4 sins, and a little bit of cash.
Next Friday, you will get this thing from this truck and bring it back to me. I will then start working on sins for... I'm sorry, I never got your names.
I'm Catherine. People call me Cat.
Good to meet you, Kat.
Don't put that on the tin, though.
Cassandra sighs, looks over at Micah. Thumper.
Thumper. Huh.
She forces a grin on her face and chuckles a couple of times herself, gives a little bit of a nod, is totally not eyeing murder at Micah.
I am Monsieur Francois.
Good to meet you.
JB.
I'm gonna ignore that.
He's JB.
I'm gonna ignore that. Monsieur Francois.
Oh, okay.
Michael, I'll look at him, smile, and say, just call me Bernie.
Bernie.
People call me Deuce.
Well,
And he looks to each of you.
let's hope this is the beginning of a wonderful business relationship full of plenty of ill-gotten gains. I look forward to seeing how you perform on this simple truck jacking.
With that, he goes back to his comlink and starts typing a bunch of stuff in rapidly. Easy kind of starts walking towards you with his hands out. Do you need any spiritual blessings, my brothers and sisters, before we send you back out into the night?
I hold out my hand.
He holds it and makes the sign of the cross on your forehead. Go with God and be safe.
I was thinking more monetary blessing,
I am DG7-C-S open bracket A close bracket -4 dash. I fucked it up. I almost did it.
Keep it in. That's one of them.
I am Tempest Error, and I play Catherine.
Hi, I'm Jupiter Sanders, and I am the voice of Micah.
Jean-Baptiste, voiced by Jeff Elaine.
The character Deuce is voiced by Jake Ream.
Hey, I'm Thumper, played by Quar.
The Tops Company Incorporated has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and/or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Tops Company Incorporated has granted permission to Burning Edge to use such names, logos, artworks, marks, and/or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website and podcast, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Burning Edge in any official capacity whatsoever. I provide jobs for the good people.
Like working at Quiznos.
Why'd you pick Quiznos of all places?
Some criminals would work there.
Complaints need to be sent to Burning Quiznos.
Well, yeah, half the stuff I'm wearing is probably stolen too.
And Jean-Baptiste stuff is probably stolen? Oh, you were talking about your character, not. So you're trying to force choke him?
Mm-hmm.
You're such a Sith.
I saw the old films, and they spoke to me.
An ASMR of me just making cat noises for an hour.
Oh, my skin is
Drunk
already
cat
crawling.
noises.
Make drunk cat noises, yeah?
Can you imagine how awesome JB would smell after that?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God.
Honestly, it'd probably be better.
Some of you can clean yourselves.
Wow.
I don't think rabbits groom.
No? But I've seen cats groom rabbits.
Oh, wow. That's just,
Oh boy.
that's a whole new kind of podcast, and I don't want to be a part of it.
Feel free to send your requests to burningfurries at
jeez.
unsuccessfully.com.